is the NBA on NBC. The 2000 playoffs. Today, it's the New York Knicks versus the Miami Heat.
American Airlines Arena, where a rivalry unmatched by few in all of sports resumes, with its roots in familiarity, even dating back to a common college experience, but resuming today with a ferocity and purpose that sets friendship aside. A rivalry galvanized by dramatic shots and by indelible images. Despite inflammatory moments, a mutual respect born of a teacher-pupil relationship, a rivalry that commands our attention and all but consumes its principles. American Airlines Arena in Miami set for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals, the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Miami. I'm Tom Hammond. One of the big stories today, of course, is injuries. Tim Hardaway of Miami, Patrick Ewing of New York. And for the latest, let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, Patrick Ewing is suffering from back spasms. He didn't practice yesterday. It was the first practice that he has missed all year. Now, doctors and trainers have been working around the clock on Patrick since this happened on practice on Friday. And he has gotten a manipulation this morning here at the arena. He's also had a massage, and he was given a muscle relaxant. Now, I spoke to Patrick Ewing. He told me he will start, he will try and play, but that he's just feeling okay, just fair. And he's going to have to wait and see how the game goes to know just how effective he will be. Now, as for Tim Hardaway, he will start today. It's the first time he will play since April 16th. I spoke to Tim. He says he's only 85%, that the foot is not going to get any better, that he just simply needs some rest. It's as good as it will get for now, and he expects to play about 30 minutes today. Tom?
All right, Jim, thank you. Joined now by Bill Walton and by Steve Snapper Jones. Steve, Miami swept Detroit without Tim Hardaway, but you can't undersell his importance to this team.
There's no way. You know, what they did for the people that are here in attendance was give them red T-shirts, and they want the Knicks to see a red. Well, this guy in the wins has made the Knicks see more than red. He has been tremendous in those 8 wins. Almost 24 points a game. In the losses, he's been less than that, and he has struggled. What Pat Riley wants is his presence out on the floor, and if there's a critical moment, like we saw at the end of the season, he can make a difference, and this place, which is loud, will erupt. They need Hardaway and his ability to play in the big moments.
And Bill, what about New York? A week ago, we saw them completely shut down Toronto to complete a sweep of that series. What do we expect a week later?
The New York Knicks as a team are playing the best basketball that the franchise has seen since the last championship 27 years ago. But the strength of that team is the strength of the individuals. The Knicks are very fortunate to have 2 of the absolute best in the league, Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston, who were at their finest against the Toronto Raptors. Sprewell led the team in scoring, and it was his defense. Allen Houston, incredible performances in Game 1 and Game 2. Both of them shot terrific field goal percentage. But it's Patrick Ewing, one of the great playoff performers in NBA history. He has come so far. He is not about to let it slip away right now. Now, there are 2 concerns for the New York Knicks right now. How do they sustain their perfection with the week-long layoff? And number 2, don't be overconfident. They feel that they're the much better team. They've proved it in the playoffs. They need to come out with edge, with hunger, with anger.
This rivalry, of course, extends even to the coaches in that teacher-pupil relationship. Teacher Pat Riley, pupil Jeff Van Gundy. How do they stand? All even, 17 wins apiece. But in the playoffs, the pupil Van Gundy leads 9 wins to 8. It's Game 1. The Heat and the Knicks. Don't kiss this one off. A lot of slams to come.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by the smooth, satisfying taste of Michelob Light, beer or Michelob Light. By Morgan Stanley Dean Witter Online. Know your source, www.msdwonline.com. And by Adidas, long live sport.
That's the scene just outside American Airlines Arena, where the Knicks and Heat are about to meet in the playoffs for the 4th straight year. Sprewell, Johnson, Ewing, Houston, and Ward. Patrick Ewing is starting, and so is Tim Hardaway for the Miami Heat. Mashburn, Brown, Mourning, Marley, and Hardaway. That's a lineup which has produced a lot of wins for the Miami Heat. Jeff Van Gundy the Knicks head coach, the former assistant to Pat Riley. And of course, Pat Riley himself, the all-time NBA winningest playoff coach. Patrick Ewing's back, as Jim Gray reported. Though he is going to start the game, still a question mark as to how long he can go. Didn't practice yesterday. And facing off against his old rival, Alonzo Mourning, also a Georgetown grad. Friends in the offseason. Alonzo idolized Patrick Ewing, even copied his number 33 today. Once again, they go head to head.
Talking to Jeff Van Gundy about the keys to the series, the strategy. Said the first team to the loose balls, the first team is going to get the long rebounds, who's going to defend the three-point shot the best, and who will have the fewest number of turnovers will decide this critically important series.
You know, one thing for sure, guys, it's a lot louder in here than it was in the Detroit game. And this crowd could be the deciding factor for them to move on. And, boy, would this place erupt with a win today.
It was that wild shot in their last regular season meeting by Tim Hardaway that probably decided the home court edge for the Miami Heat. And the fans could be important, as the loudest we've ever heard in this arena, which only opened up in January. As you saw on that graphic, the Miami Heat at home with this lineup have been nearly unbeatable. And the opening tap swatted out of bounds by Alonzo Mourning. Mike Mathis, Bennett Salvatore, Joe DeRosa are today's officials.
Establish control early if you're the Knicks. Come with Houston or Sprewell on the first possession. Let them attack the rim.
Houston off a screen. Marley's checking him, and the pass intercepted as Mourning stepped in front. Here's Mashburn being checked by Sprewell. Key matchup.
So much for your coaching strategy. They didn't let you in the locker room. They're going to Ewing.
But why? He's got back spasms. Let him work his way into the game.
Mashburn got away from Sprewell. Ewing comes to help. They get the ball away. And Sprewell leads the New York break. Ward for three. Easy rebound for Brown.
Charlie Ward, who had his best three-point shooting season this year prior to breaking the finger that sidelined him for about 3 to 4 weeks toward the end of the regular year.
Shot 38% from three-point range in the regular season.
Well, remember how they doubled and tripled Vince Carter? We see that right away. Get the ball out of Mashburn's hand. PJ Brown.
Game's first bucket belongs to Brown as he drives to the rim. Ward attacking Hardaway. He said lateral movement would be the biggest problem, and that was very evident there as Charlie Ward blows by him for the reverse. Marley for three. Ward has the long rebound.
Charlie Ward has added responsibilities today. He has to become an aggressive, attacking force on the offensive end. Ewing's got P.J. Brown on him in transition.
And they have matched up Hardaway against Houston. Allen was calling for the ball, but gave it up to LJ. Johnson's fall away is good. Larry Johnson, boy, does he save his best games for the playoffs, or what, especially the second half of playoff games.
And the expanded playoff format has really served Johnson well as he comes in fresh. Remember, he's playing with a chronically injured back, bad foot.
And Marley, that's twice Heat players have gotten right to the basket, normally something New York does not allow.
Both of these teams are very good at shutting down the middle, making their opponents play from the perimeter, and it looks as though they're going to try to get the ball to the rim as much as they can early in the game. Whenever Larry Johnson starts to hold the ball like this, you know he's going to try to work for a shot.
And LJ opens up 2 for 2.
The bitter rivalry between these two teams comes right to the front when you get Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, two ex-teammates who are also ex-friends.
Mourning made a nice catch. He had P.J. Brown diving to the rim, didn't get it to him. The fall away literally will not go down. And a loose ball foul. P.J. Brown over the back of Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson going to work twice in the low post. First time torching the much taller P.J. Brown. P.J. is 6'10". Larry Johnson's maybe 6'5". The ability to score on the bigger, stronger, more physical player, certainly a key for Larry Johnson.
Right right back to Larry Johnson, and they get an illegal defense. But whenever Johnson catches the ball down in that corner and he starts to hold the ball, you know he's going to end up in a one-on-one situation trying to worm his way into the hoop.
They call the illegal defense here, but what Miami's doing, they're doing a fine job. They're switching, and Alonzo Mourning is staying with Patrick Ewing on that play, but the adjustments that Pat Riley has come with to confound the New York Knicks when they try to run their isolation offense, brilliant by Riley.
Houston over Marlin. Allen Houston on target. The baseline fall away, his first basket. Marley said of all the players he must defend, Allen Houston is the toughest. An illustration of why on that last one. Lost on the way up by Mourning. Here's Houston again, and he's 2 for 2.
What he said was he's the best pure shooter of all the guards in the league, and he opens up with 2 buckets, and Pat Riley yet to take a timeout, trying to get Mourning on track along with Hardaway.
There are the 2 principals you mentioned, and Mourning short, but tapped in by Brown. His 4th point. New York has opened the game by hitting 5 of their first 6 shots.
You mentioned the crowd at the opening moments. There's 42% of the crowd here that is cheering loudly for the New York Knicks.
42%.
42%.
How'd you get that number?
I took a survey.
Here's the double of Larry Johnson. He's shooting 100%. He's 3 for 3. That one, I could figure out that. I was good at math.
But the Heat are doing a good job of not double-teaming Larry Johnson. So many Eastern Conference teams come in and try to double-team Larry Johnson. That makes him a better passer.
Jamal Mashburn missing the shot. Ewing with the outlet to Sprewell.
The history for the Heat has been that Jamal Mashburn has gotten off to very quick starts, and it hasn't happened so far. Brown makes the save.
Mashburn has got to attack here. Take the pressure off of Tim Hardaway.
Alonzo over Ewing. Short. LJ wades in for the carom, and here's Ward in front court. Alonzo's missed his first 3 shots. Patrick Ewing misses his first shot.
Charlie Ward should have pulled that ball back. Patrick is going to try to do as much as he can. Don't leave him hanging, forcing him to take difficult shots.
Mashburn spotted for the 3. Way off the mark.
Watch your face on the long rebound.
Mashburn had been shooting 50% from 3-point range in the playoffs. That one didn't even draw iron, and he's 0 for 3.
But we know that the Heat and the Knicks both go through stretches where they don't score, and so New York right now, while they're hot, trying to build a big advantage.
Ward.
Mourning in transition.
Alonzo Mourning caught the New York defense napping and beat them on the other end from Hardaway.
The cheap bucket is really critical in this series, and if Mourning continues to run, he's going to have a big advantage over Patrick Ewing.
He better run. That's where he can get some separation from Ewing. He can't move as well as he used to. Ewing at 37.
Patrick says he was the best center in the East. All the New York newspapers. Sprewell with a miss. Hardaway for 3. Tim Hardaway with a 3-pointer makes it a 1-point game, and Hardaway playing for the first time since April 16th.
Taking a big gamble, Tim Hardaway is. Still got 21 playoff games conceivably left for the Heat.
LJ. Alonzo came to help, made him alter the shot. Loose ball, who's got it? Hardaway.
Alonzo Mourning in transition again.
Before he can get it, though, a foul is called.
Alonzo Mourning out in transition, taking advantage of the fact that Ewing's playing with a very, very bad back spasms.
But, you know, Tim Hardaway, big shot, big moment, brings him within 1.
(12-11), New York leads Miami. It was a week ago that New York completed the sweep. 8 days ago that Miami completed their sweep, and during the 8 days, Pat Riley sent his team to Boca Raton for 2-a-day practices while New York went through their normal routine up at Purchase, New York. And Coach Jeff Van Gundy says whichever team is ready to play today will decide game one.
I think in game one, there's going to be one team, or both teams are going to think they're ready. One team is truly going to be ready. The other one is going to be knocked back on their heels by the other team's intensity. I hope we're knocking them back on our heels, but I certainly think that with all the time off, one team is just not going to be as sharp as the other.
So far, New York is the sharper team, but they only lead by one.
New York started the game 6 for 7. They're 0 for 5 since that point as the fast break opportunities for Miami. And the step back jumper by Alonzo Mourning has given the Heat early control.
And a 1-point lead.
The one thing that they have to do, the Miami Heat, is believe in themselves and know that they can withstand a hot stretch and get back in the ball game. They've done it here early. Back to Larry Johnson.
When he starts going through the legs, watch out.
Missed it though. Marley to Hardaway. Brown turning it, lays it in from Hardaway.
Transition baskets, time and time again. The big men for Pat Riley outrunning Ewing and Larry Johnson.
Tim Hardaway doing a good job early. And Miami getting the transition buckets, off balance shot by Houston. Here's Brown, back to Hardaway.
Houston told us before the game that Marley plays him closer than anyone does.
And once again, Hardaway spotting a wide open Alonzo Mourning.
That's a question of the high percentage bucket, and suddenly the Miami Heat are playing right at the rim with no pressure on Hardaway. He's spotting these guys underneath. They're foul or an illegal defense. They're looking an illegal defense. Everybody's pointing out there, but you watch Tim Hardaway and the Miami Heat run the floor, get out early, make good decisions, and the result is 2 back-to-back buckets, one by P.J. Brown and Alonzo Mourning.
Tim Hardaway is playing a controlled game. He's not trying to do too much, not trying to explode on those very sore and painful feet. Technical call for the illegal defense, the second in the early going.
And Houston hits the free throw, breaking an 11-0 Miami run.
Marcus Canby into the lineup now. Larry Johnson to the bench after a fine start.
Houston posting up Marley.
The problem that you have is you get players that, get a hot hand, then they cool off and they try to find somebody else. Steal, Ward knocked it back out of bounds.
You can see that Patrick Ewing is just not sharp. He's lived for this moment for so long, Patrick Ewing. The ball bounced right to him there, but he's allowing guys to come around twice now. Alonzo Mourning on the first play of the game, that time P.J. Brown.
Marley gives it to Mashburn. Ewing to double. Mashburn around them both. Finds Hardaway for 3. Alonzo Mourning out battling Patrick Ewing for the putback.
Ewing can't move, can't jump, can't react. The problems with the back spasms, very painfully evident. Jeff Van Gundy wants to talk this over, try to fight off this raucous crowd in full celebratory mood.
New York with a timeout in the face of a 13-1 Miami run. Watch the 2 ex-Georgetown centers. Alonzo Mourning beating Patrick Ewing and jams it home. Mourning puts it down, and Miami has its biggest lead, 19-13.
Since the playoffs started, Tim Hardaway has been a story for the Miami Heat. And the fact that he didn't play in the Detroit series, but playing today, shows you what they missed. Good, quick decision-making and getting the ball to the big people where they can use it has been the story of this early run by the Miami Heat, as they've been able to get the lead. And it started with that 3-point field goal. So the people that came in red, they may leave with smiles on their faces because of Hardaway's presence.
Tim Hardaway, during the regular season, a future Olympian this coming September in Australia. He was great, Tim Hardaway. The numbers not really telling the story, but Anthony Carter coming through in fine fashion. Oh, wild pass by Marcus Camby.
Carter saying that Hardaway was a great teacher, and Pat Riley, here's an illegal defense called again against Miami, the 3rd, and we'll send Allen Houston, we presume, back to the free throw line.
If we look at Pat Riley, you know, he knows that his team right now is not reacting quick enough on the weak side, and in between the free throw, Camby and Sprewell having a discussion about that last play they tried to execute with the spin, and that ball got away.
We've seen Tim Hardaway do, though, is what we saw Jason Kidd do when he came back in the clinching game against San Antonio. Jason Kidd playing for Phoenix. Came out, let the game come his way. Just passed it around the beginning. He found it. Then he started to shoot his jumpers.
Houston misses. New York, in the last 5 minutes, has gotten only 2 technical free throws for illegal defense made by Allen Houston. Mashburn. Jamal Mashburn with his first bucket. And, well, Steve, you said the drought could come at any time for either team. It's come for New York. They've been outscored 15-2.
And they know that they now have to ride someone with the hot hand. Ewing got 3 assists to keep one inside.
He has spent the last 48 hours thinking about his back instead of jumpers dropping.
And it's evident. That's going to go the other way. An illegal screen called.
But Ewing is too good, and there's no excuse for missing this opportunity that he had the last time. Finally got free and just clicked it, and it got away from him.
No excuse. Obviously, you've never had back trouble.
There's no excuse. You put the sneakers on, you're at point-blank range. You should make those. Nobody was even around.
Obviously, you've never had back trouble.
And here is Anthony Carter replacing Tim Hardaway, and Chris Childs has come in for
Charlie Ward. Hardaway's got to find some way to keep those feet loose on the sideline.
New York's gone nearly 6 minutes without a field goal.
Yeah, they need a hoop, and they're not out of this ball game. Only down 7. They go to Houston, and that one is short.
Look at the defense that Dan Marley is putting on Allen Houston. So tight, bumping in time, keeping them off balance.
Mashburn, that last foul, by the way, was called on Mashburn for a push-up. And there's a pretty baseline spin by Jamal, and he has 4.
At the open, and Van Gundy's forced to take another timeout right here. We talked about the matchup at the small forward position. After a slow start, Jamal Mashburn has found his game.
1:32 left in the opening quarter. Log on to MSNBCSports.com and click on Showtime Online for in-depth playoff coverage. Isaiah Thomas picks the winners in the conference semifinals. Bill Walton previews each game. Matt Gukas debunks the greatest playoff myths. And Steve Jones has a special interactive on the best current and all-time point guards. There's one of them right there. MSNBCSports.com, official website of NBC Sports.
New York has missed their last 11 shots after a blistering 6-for-7 start.
And their last field goal came at the 8-minute mark. Patrick Ewing.
Over Mourning, went down and came out. And P.J. Brown has his 8th board already in the first quarter.
So that means that the New York Knicks defense is going to have to produce some easy buckets at some point, and they almost got burned on that quick exchange.
Brown made a backdoor cut, and Carter was off target with a pass, and finally Sprewell hits a jump shot, breaking the long New York field goal drought. Sprewell's first basket.
Alonzo Mourning has got Marcus Camby on it. Oh, Houston with the steal.
Against Mashburn, fakes the pass, puts it up, no good. Brown has his nice ball and then throws it to Childs. Houston, Sprewell wants it at the three-point line. Defense recovers. Sprewell put it in.
Crowd wanted travel, but it was a nice penetrating drive by Sprewell, back-to-back bucket.
What's happened to Miami's offense since Tim Hardaway went to the bench?
Somebody's been out 30 seconds.
They've given up 5 straight points.
Nice catch by Mourning. Interior passing results in a layup for Anthony Carter.
The Knicks rotating on defense, which was superlative in the Toronto series, has been 2 steps slow this afternoon against Miami.
Allen Houston was looking for a foul the last time. Finally gets a call way out in front.
With 6 seconds good to go in the quarter. Dan Marley.
Marley's ability to stay up and bump and body. Tough to see a foul. Better clean my glasses and go over that Better go over that rules tape that I found on my desk this week at home.
Only the 4th foul for the entire game, though, in this first quarter, as Bowen and Weatherspoon come in for Miami in the closing seconds, and foul Patrick Ewing.
Well, a good decision by Houston. He found Patrick Ewing right at the rim. He got him up. Now, we'll talk about this back. We'll see how he does on these free throws, but right at the rim, keeping the pressure on the defense of the Miami Heat.
Ewing looks tentative. Looks like he's unable to explode, unable to move, unable to find his balance. This is Patrick's 125th career playoff game.
All right, no problem when you say all of those games. Remember, you're talking about a guy that's not a spring ticket.
It does not count. No basket. No basket. But it was a thing of beauty, nevertheless.
How can they not count that?
Ewing's going to try one more as he goes to the bench for the quarter break. The end of a first quarter, New York starting hot, cold in the middle, and finishing with a flurry as the fans react to the big screen replay of the backcourt shot. Here it is.
Clock definitely at 0-0 before it left his hand, but boy, that's nice.
Count it anyway.
Shoot a three. Yeah, I know. P.J. Brown, a playoff record, 9 rebounds in the first quarter.
Miami leads the NBA on NBC. Well, today is May 7th, and it was May 8th, 1970. The New York Knicks, inspired by the miraculous comeback of Willis Reed, Walt Frazier's 36 points and 19 assists in Game 7 led the Knicks to a victory over the Lakers on their way to the franchise's first NBA championship. And Clyde is with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Tom. 30 years later, you still look the same. What do you remember most about that? What stands out?
Well, the way, dramatic way that Willis Reed came onto the court, and we didn't know he would play, but he provided the impetus for the team. The fans became involved, and I had unequivocally my best game as a Knick.
The best 7th game anybody's ever had.
Oh, thank you.
Statistically, anyway. Let me ask you about this Knicks team. And do you think they're a championship caliber team?
Yeah, I'm starting to believe in them. The way they finished off Toronto, they were playing with a lot of confidence, and the availability of Patrick Ewing now being there, I think they have an excellent chance of winning the title.
Clyde, it's great to see you. We appreciate you. Let us hone in. You're doing the radio. We'll let you get back to your job.
All right, thanks for the memories.
All right, back to you, Tom.
All right, Jim, and what a memory that was in Game 7. Not only Willis Reed, but Walt Frazier's performance leading the Knicks to the championship. Bowen misses a 3. Weatherspoon is fouled. Loose ball foul called on the New York Knicks.
The Knicks, who were so sharp in every aspect of the game, do not appear sharp in the blocking out, in the rotating, in the teamwork, in the shooting. Other than that, they're right there.
That was the first foul on Marcus Camby.
As dull as they are, they're only down by 6.
Yeah, they went 7 minutes without a field goal. They shot 36% to Miami's 60% shooting, and yet only down 6. And you know a Miami drought is going to come. Mashburn is fouled as he takes it to the rim.
Now you've got Sprewell switched to the backcourt as Houston takes a breather. That puts Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby trying to play the forwards against Jamal Mashburn. Mashburn, the first couple of plays, including a wild three-point throw up there, now has really come back and exploded here in the middle of the first half.
Well, Camby slipped, and that exposed the former Miami Heat, Kurt Thomas, who picks up his first personal foul. And you know, if you're coming to the rim and Thomas is anywhere in the neighborhood, he's going to give you a good shot. Mashburn gets both the free throws.
Jamal Mashburn's emergence as a key playoff figure for the Heat continues. New York started 6 of 7 and went cold. Miami started cold and got hot. And we're going to go Miami's way after the New York foul on Kurt Thomas.
Chris Childs, the point guard now, trying to settle this Knick team down. He's not playing with any sort of rhythm right now, any sort of identity or style of this.
Well, Pat Riley says every game takes on a personality and character of its own. This one certainly has. The two teams reversing roles after an early start. Mashburn made a nice move, but couldn't finish it.
What the New York Knicks need right now is a hot hand, somebody that they feel can get a shot on their own and do it quickly. Sprewell finished with a couple of hoops trying to get this one.
Over Bowen, it came out, but tipped in, slapped in by Marcus Camby. Camby off the bench for his first bucket. The 6-point lead for the Heat. Weatherspoon blocked by Camby.
It was in the Heat series last year that Marcus Camby came alive, and Van Gundy realized what a treasure that he had.
Buried treasure for a while. Childs, that's a 2. Had a foot on the line. Chris Childs, a long range 2.
Now, a couple of buckets, and watch the defensive attitude the Knicks pick up as Childs is up tight and almost out at midcourt, picking up Anthony Carter.
Mashburn moving gracefully, beautifully without the ball.
Weatherspoon under pressure from Camby, missed it. Marcus clears it.
Well, Weatherspoon must think he's still in Detroit, and he just can go on his own, and he's trying. Marcus Camby had a couple of tough shots.
Sprewell over Bowen. Kept alive by Thomas, and then Carter slaps it to Mashburn.
Oh, my. You're going to get Sprewell with a double shot. He gave Bruce Bowen 2 elbows running down the floor, finally got caught.
Why would you deny Bruce Bowen position down there? Just let him catch the ball. He's not going to torch Latrell Sprewell. Timeout, New York.
Marcus Camby is the guy that shut down the middle, and that's made the big difference. And the New York Knicks have found some way to find a bucket.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite. The coolest stuff in the world is at Miller's Get the Goods Online auction. By Lexus and our relentless pursuit of perfection. By Prudential, your rock-solid choice for insurance, investments, real estate, and financial services. And by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
Playing through pain, a requisite for the playoffs. Patrick Ewing strapped up now with the hot pack, trying to keep that lower back injury from tightening up anymore. And the matchup in the middle has gone for Alonzo Mourning. The jumper unable to go down early for Patrick Ewing. Alonzo Mourning stepping to the perimeter, running the floor, enabling his team to get a 4-point lead right now. But speaking of running the floor, Latrell Sprewell, who had been defended the last 2 times by Bruce Bowen, came back and showed him what playoff basketball is all about, the rotation of the shoulders.
Basketball is all about a elbow to the solar plexus.
That was not an elbow. That was a rotation of the body, the upper body, trying to establish defensive position.
Another contortion, Tom. You know, we have talked about strange things happening in this series, and those are the kinds of things that spark it. But Sprewell had mean intentions on his mind the whole time down the floor. Let's see if he gets himself under control.
Thomas missing the jump hook, loose ball foul. On Alonzo Mourning, or let's see, raised his hand. It is on Mourning. P.J. Brown had returned, and here's Otis Thorpe going to spell Alonzo Mourning.
And Mourning didn't want to come out of the game and unhappy about the foul that he commits. Otis Thorpe comes in. You know, there is going to be some contact between the 2 T's, Thorpe and Thomas now. They both are kind of reckless and very physical players. Bowen not relaxing against Sprewell.
Alonzo Mourning 4 for 8 shooting, 8 points. Ewing 0 for 4, 1 point.
Miami sharp on its switches out on the perimeter, cutting off any penetration. Jump shot no good. And the ball will go.
Well, you've never seen so many officials in the building. You got the crowd pointing toward the Heat end. You got all of the Heat pointing one way and the Knicks pointing their way. And Mike Mathis says New York Knicks basketball.
But Van Gundy's saying it's about who's going to get the long rebounds, who's going to get the loose balls. That ball poked out of bounds by Marcus Camby, looks like. Incorrect call.
They give it back to Sprewell and the Knicks. You need to get your glasses on. You're missing this game.
Bruce Bowen is showing way too much visible frustration with the referees here.
Bowen off a hard screen from Camby. And now Thomas trying to set a screen. The double of Sprewell. Thomas couldn't get the roll. Brown's got double-figure rebound.
Van Gundy well aware of the team not sharp. Frustration. He just has to patiently wait it out. Hopefully somebody gets a hot hand for New York.
Carter, as they move it around the perimeter. Here's the entry pass to Thorpe. He finds Carter. 3 to shoot. Carter got it away and got it down.
Just wanted to show us he could beat the buzzer anyway. Took an extra dribble, spun in, and Tim Hardaway looked on and said, yeah, you know, that's why I'm here.
Miami's first field goal of the quarter comes at the 8-minute mark. They're 1 of 6 in the quarter. You see.
Carter was 1 for 11 the regular season against New York. Another sloppy execution at the basket. Kurt Thomas cleans it up.
Thomas with his 4th shot on that tip gets his first basket. The lead again 4. Sprewell in the passing lane against Carter is fouled by Anthony Carter.
Too good for his own good that time because that tip was too far away. That let Anthony Carter get back and eventually keep him from getting an easy score, and he'll have to go to the line.
But how did that play develop? It was Latrell Sprewell in the passing lane because of the Knicks defense on the pick and roll. When he'd come off the pick and roll, Anthony Carter's getting double teamed, not getting a good look whatsoever. The big step out makes it all possible for Sprewell.
Tonight on an all-new Dateline, testosterone. It separates the men from the boys, but is it the macho magic potion you're looking for? Dateline NBC tonight, 8 Eastern. I'm not saying a word, Bill.
I didn't say a word.
Sprewell hits 1 of 2, and the lead reduced to 3.
Chris Childs on the ball defense, as good as anyone in the NBA today.
Anthony Carter, he has the only 2 field goals that he had made the last 6.5 minutes. Skip pass to Bowen. Bowen touches it to Weatherspoon with 3 to shoot. And for the second consecutive possession up against the shot clock, they nail one. Last time Carter, this time Weatherspoon.
What is the offense going to come through here? You know, Riley's got Marley, Hardaway, Mourning, all on the bench right now. Mashburn.
Sprewell trying to draw a foul on the way. Got really at a bad angle and had a tougher shot than he originally started with.
Loose ball foul, Kurt Thomas of the New York Knicks. You're watching the NBA on NBC. It's a rivalry where the emotions are always just simmering beneath the surface. The Knicks and the Heat in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals. We have 6:37 left till halftime in American Airlines Arena in Miami. And the Miami Heat, after trailing by as many as 6, have come back to take the lead at 31-26.
Allen Houston back. Latrell Sprewell to the bench right now. Still Camby and Kurt Thomas, Larry Johnson on the front line for New York.
Brown's jump hook rims out. Thomas to Childs, but Miami's back on defense.
Now let's see if they can reignite Allen Houston. He started very quickly and then has cooled since that time. They need both he and Larry Johnson to score the ball.
There's a shot and a bad looking one. Brown has 11 rebounds in the first half.
Brown has almost gotten every New York Knicks miss, and he's done a great job of defensive rebounding for Pat Riley.
On the pick and roll, that slam will not count by Thorpe. A New York foul.
Miami has learned to slip the picker when New York comes with the trapping double team of the ball handler. Kurt Thomas forced to hold and grab on the Miami attack to the hoop.
All right, Bill, now you are a guy that had a lot of foot injuries. How important was it for Tim Hardaway to keep his foot warm if he could at all? and he's back out on the floor now.
Most importantly is for Tim to keep it stretched out. And that long sitting over there where it all tightens up. He's obviously playing through a lot of pain.
And don't forget, this is the first of 3, a playoff triple header on NBC today. Coming up next is the Jazz and the Trailblazers in Game 1. And then in the late game, the Suns and the Lakers. And NBA on NBC playoff triple header goes on next with Utah and Portland. 32-26. And the clock ticking down toward the 5:40 mark, first half.
Johnson also got off to a terrific start in his cool. But now, again, whenever you see him hold the ball, he's looking to go one-on-one. And I think that Pat Riley and company have picked up on it, but he squeezed that one off.
LJ split the double team and banked it home. Larry Johnson, as you see, having a good scoring day with 8 points, which makes him tops in the game, equaled by Mourning. Thorpe tried to one-hand the pass. Not a good idea. Turnover, Miami.
You've got to come to the ball when the play breaks down. You can't just leave Tim Hardaway helpless on the wing with the shot clock running down.
Again, same situation. LJ holding the ball.
That one came up short. And Miami has the ball, leading by 4.
Great pass.
Mourning mugged by Ewing. And for Patrick, number 1.
With Larry Johnson being the focal point of this balanced New York attack, the ability to step through defenders as opposed to going to the fadeaway. Larry Johnson with the entire arsenal on display. Jumpers, fadeaway, passing, defense, rebounding.
Jeff Van Gundy says he's the most prepared player he's ever coached. Out there a couple of hours before every game shooting. Ewing's foul has put Mourning at the line where he hits the first and 1 more to come.
Alonzo Mourning is taking complete advantage of Patrick Ewing's back spasms, running him up and down the floor, establishing the quick deep post position in transition, stepping out, moving away from the basket.
And so far, Mourning has outscored his mentor, Patrick Ewing, 10-1.
So much for I'm the best center in the East today.
Surely.
Childs to Canby and 1. Otis Thorpe with an ill-advised foul.
Well, you know, Thorpe has never known the better part of valor, and if you're in the vicinity, as I said before, he's going to hit you, goes right into the chest of Marcus Camby. That's a chance for a 3-point play. But Camby, an activity player, he's going to be active and around the bucket. Doesn't make the free throw.
It was against bounds by LJ.
It was against Miami that Marcus Camby hurt that knee earlier this season up in New York when he was fouled hard by Anthony Carter from behind. Not a flagrant foul, but a hard foul nonetheless. And Childs picks up a blocking foul.
What a one-man backcourt defense. Childs, an ill-advised foul, which puts Miami at the free throw line.
But you want to put pressure on Tim Hardaway all over the court. You want to attack him when Tim's playing defense. When he's on offense, get up in his face, make him run. Make this not a skill contest as Sprewell anxiously awaits his return. But for Tim Hardaway, the Knicks want to make this an endurance contest, not a skill contest.
And harass him maybe, but I don't think you want to foul him on the first pass made inbound.
I don't think Chris Childs felt he fouled him. That's why he's over talking to Mike Masters.
Well, they're going to have a lot of conversations because very few times in this series are we going to have players say, yes, I fouled him, and that was a good call.
Hardaway only hits 1 of 2, rebounded by Camby. 6 rebounds for Marcus off the New York bench. Meanwhile, where's Allen Houston gone? He's missed 6 shots in a row after he hit his first 2.
Houston's got to be able to get into a rhythm, and he can't give up on himself. You know, nice drive, Child.
Blocked by Mourning and fouled Camby over the back. Going to call that on Mourning?
It's number 2 on Alonzo.
The penetration, the wipe out with the left hand by Childs, ignored by the referee. The ball just tipped. Alonzo seemed to have inside position, but Marcus Camby just quicker to the ball.
How are those glasses?
I told you. We'll get them some Kleenex at the break and make sure that they get nice and clean.
Glasses are crystal clear.
Marcus shooting for his 6th point. Can't hit it. But he does have 7 rebounds in 12 minutes. Here's Mashburn, fouled by Houston. No basket. No basket.
Houston had him under control and made a mistake by trying to reach for the ball. Mashburn does not have the angle he wants. You know he's going to bore in, and Houston coming across trying to make a play. In that situation, drive him right to the baseline. Help is coming.
There was concern about Jamal Mashburn coming in. Now with Tim Hardaway back in the flow, whether he would take a back seat. To his credit, he's come out and played very aggressively, taking it to the hoop against 2 Knicks defenders that time.
And through the regular season, no one benefited more from having Hardaway in the lineup than Jamal Mashburn.
His numbers significantly higher. Shooting percentage, points, 3-point percentage. Doesn't have to handle the ball nearly as much. Doesn't have to be the playmaker. Can be the finisher that he was known for since his days at Kentucky.
Mashburn has hit all 4 of his free throws and has 8 points in the game.
Houston knocked to the floor down there as the Heat defense really getting physical. 9 on the clock for Ewing.
Ewing against Mourning.
He just can't play.
Air ball.
0 for 5. Patrick Ewing. Think about getting to the offensive glass and setting screens and being the defender rather than a go-to jump shooter.
Mashburn gets a screen from Thorpe. And on the switch, picked up by Camby. Shoots over it. Ewing tapping to Childs. Childs all the way. And goaltending call, but a spectacular rejection by Alonzo Mourning.
I don't know about this call. This is great defense here. Alonzo Mourning coming from so far behind. That's a great block. That is a terrific block.
Fans agree with you.
How about 19,000 and change finally say, Bill, you're right.
We knew it would happen sooner or later if you kept at it. Mashburn for 3. Long rebound. Camby has another. Mashburn's down.
Looks like he's hurt. Slow to get up.
Camby got a shot in the face as he hit that one. Marcus has 7 points and 8 rebounds.
Camby's keeping him in the ball game here in the quarter. It's a 2-point game, and Pat Riley wants to talk about it.
Jamal Mashburn very slow to get up and walking gingerly back to the Heat bench. Closest it's been since the first quarter. It's a 2-point game.
Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm in New York. Coming up on Net Zero at the half, we'll take a look at the career of Utah's Jeff Hornacek. He's announced that this will be the final season of his 14-year career.
If you look at me, I'm not the biggest guy, not the strongest, not the fastest.
Horny open for 3. Got it.
I can go to the gym at night and shoot extra, and you know, I always try to outwork the next guy.
Well, Hornacek faces a challenging matchup with Portland's Steve Smith as the Jazz meet the Trailblazers in Game 2 of our triple-header. Let's go back to Miami and rejoin Tom, Bill, Snapper, and Jim.
Thank you, Hannah. And as the Utah Jazz embark on their second-round playoff series, Jeff Hornacek hoping, along with Karl Malone and John Stockton, to remove their names from that list by the time the season's over. Patrick Ewing is also on that list. Most games, playoff games, without a title. Mashburn on this play seemed to turn his ankle.
He pulls the trigger on the quick 3 as he's moving up the court. He just seems to go right down.
He stepped on the official Mike Matthews' foot right on top of it, and it tweaked it a little bit, but he seemed to be okay.
Mashburn has been plagued by injury throughout his career. In fact, this has been one of the most injury-free seasons. In fact, he said his playoff performance, much improved, is largely a result of being healthy for the first time.
This is not pretty for Patrick Ewing. I'm sure Alonzo Mourning hung on his wall the tabloids with Ewing proclaiming to be the best center in the Eastern Conference.
And the Mourning field goal there over Ewing as Patrick committed the foul. Miami's first field goal in 4.5 minutes. And can't convert the three-point play.
It's surprising that Pat Riley hasn't called some isolation drives for Alonzo Mourning in the head-to-head matchup here. Mourning torched Ewing for 33 points in the final regular season meeting here. Hardaway hit the game winner in overtime.
Well, you know, Ewing is a stubborn and proud warrior, and you know, he's going to stay with it and stay with it and finally get something to dance in for him. Has a little something to say on his way to the free throw line.
And it's the third foul on Alonzo Mourning. With 2:24 left in the second quarter, and Patrick now with a chance for a three-point play, answering Alonzo and perhaps dropping in the free throw for three-point play. He's only 1 of 6 shooting to start the game, Patrick Ewing, as Mourning goes to the bench.
At the outset, we talked about the Knicks challenge. Ouch. They're going to call a double lane violation and jump it up at center court. Everyone trying to get in there quickly, anticipating the missed free throw. But the Knicks unable to sustain that perfection, and they're standing around offensively. They're holding the ball. Both players, 10 players in the lane early. Dial a violation.
Otis Thorpe, who replaced Mourning, was one of the first in. He's jumping it up. But the tap controlled by Camby.
It's that hesitation that Ewing does at the top of the free throw. Coming back to Ewing.
This time against Thorpe. Double team from Mashburn. Ewing, 2 in a row. Patrick Ewing shaking off the pain and dropping in 2 consecutive field goals.
And comes out talking about it, calling the fans out.
Inside the final 2 minutes of the first half and tied at 39. Marley for 3, air ball.
Again, check the droughts. A 4-minute drought for the Miami Heat, a 7-minute drought for the New York Knicks, and yet when they come together, it always looks like this, either at the break or at the closing moments of the game. It's tied now. Looking for Ewing one more time, foul against Otis Thorpe.
The great thing that Jeff Van Gundy has to feel really excited about is that the Knicks have not played well, and they're right there on the other team's home court. Tied at 39, a chance to go up 2. You cannot point to one Knick player and say that he's on top of his game. In fact, Ewing, this is about as poorly as Patrick has played throughout this great season for him, and they're still ahead.
And they have their first lead now since the 12-11 advantage they had early in the game.
I sense the tide is turning here. Bill is shifting toward the New York Knicks in blue again.
Just reporting the facts, Steve.
Do you think it has anything to do with the scoreboard as you figure out this formula?
6 straight points for Ewing.
Hardaway against Chris Childs. Gets a screen from Thorpe. Thorpe's wide open. Gets the pass. Shot. Good. Pick and roll par excellence. Hardaway to the open Thorpe.
You know, the last time they were down, it was Hardaway that got them going on that surge, and they got control of the scoreboard. So let's see if Hardaway in the last minute 12 keeps his team in it.
Again, Ewing, quick double team this time. Ewing misses over it. B.J. Brown has 13 rebounds.
Thorpe in transition
against Ewing, who lets him put it in. Miami by 2.
Chris Childs with a glare right at Marcus Camby. Said, hey, you got to run back on defense.
Nice play for Allen Houston.
They lob it to the rim. Chris Childs the assist, and Houston has 8 points. First field goal in his last 7 shots.
Great leader Chris Childs does everything needed to help his team.
Ashburn back to Brown. Cut off by Ewing. Ashburn ball fake and is taken down by Larry Johnson.
As I said, they challenge every call. Now, is there any doubt that there's a foul on this play?
How can this not be a foul?
Oh, for once you say it.
to argue this call.
It should be 3 free throws.
And he's lucky he didn't get a technical foul.
Sprewell in. Ewing out of the ball game.
Jamal Mashburn will be at the line for 3, and he has hit all 4 of his free throws today.
A second look here, both feet behind the line. He did have his lead foot back on the line. Judgment call by the officials giving him the full contingent of 3 free throws.
Might have had that foot on the line because he was being taken backwards.
That generally is what happens when you get thrown backwards. The foot goes out.
And Mashburn 7 for 7 at the charity strike.
7 in the quarter for Mashburn and 11 in the ball game.
Sprewell or Houston, last shot time for New York.
Allen Houston, reach-in foul on Dan Marley of Miami.
Dan Marley is trying to play Allen Houston glove tight. Houston making the right decision. Get himself turned around and find the seam and put some pressure on the defense of Dan Marley. When the guy's that tight, he's got to be able to move his feet very quickly. If he doesn't, he's going to foul you in some way. Houston on the line.
But basically, you're asking the defensive player to just keep backing up and give the offensive man whatever he wants. That's inherently unfair.
You take your chances. You get that close, and Dan Marley is gambling that somehow he can get Allen Houston off balance, and he won't make the good decision offensively. 2 free throws for Houston.
And he has 10 points. 14 seconds left in the first half. Some backcourt pressure from New York. Mashburn in his point forward role, handling the ball here. 5 seconds. Mashburn's pass deflected, stolen. Childs trying to get a final shot. It bounces off the backboard, no good, as the first half comes to a close. The first half that saw each team weather a severe scoring drought to finish on virtual even terms, with Miami holding a 1-point edge, 46-45. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Alonzo, you had 3 fouls, but you won the battle 12-7 against Patrick. Are you going to continue to go after him? It seems like his back is bothering him.
All right, we didn't win the battle yet, man. The game is far from being over. You know, we just got to stay consistent. We're not doing a good job on the boards. They're killing us on the boards, and we got to do a better job of that. That's what's keeping them in the game. We got to stop making mistakes. We're making a lot of little mindless mistakes, you know, that's keeping them in the game. We're actually shooting ourselves in the foot, you know, and that's what's keeping the Knicks in the game.
Patrick said earlier in the week that he felt he was still the best center in the East. Did that bother you?
Man, I'm not even concerned about that. I'm so focused on what we have to do out here on the court, man. All the talk isn't going to get it done, man. It's going to get done between these lines right here. That's what it's all about.
So thank you. Good luck in the second.
Thanks.
All right, back to you, Tom. All
right, Jim. As you mentioned, Alonzo outscoring Patrick 12-7. Jamal Mashburn has 11 for Miami. Allen Houston leads New York with 10. At the end of the first half, it's the Miami Heat 46, the New York Knicks 45. Now stay tuned for net zero at the half, coming up right after these messages.
Net Zero. At the half, Net Zero, defenders of the free world. Free internet access and free email forever. www.netzero.net.
Halftime in Miami. The Heat lead the Knicks 46-45. Just the kind of close game that we've come to expect from these bitter rivals. Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm, along with Isaiah Thomas and Mike Fratello. Peter Vesey is in Miami today. He's going to have a report for us in our next segment. Meanwhile, what struck you about the first half, Isaiah?
Well, we always talk about the playoffs being a chess match, and Jeff Van Gundy has made the first move. He's changed his defensive philosophy, and he's double-teaming Jamal Mashburn inside the post. You see all eyes on Mashburn right now. But that breaks down the defense. You'll see P.J. Brown circle around, and as he catches the ball on the wing, you'll see strong penetration inside, breaks the defense down, and when you break the defensive down and you double team like New York is double teaming now, you're vulnerable to offensive rebound. Not only does P.J. Brown have 6 points, but he's also come up with 12 rebounds.
Hold on a second. Who told you could use my telestrator?
I'm sorry.
The wrath of the czar.
Let's talk about Patrick Ewing on the other end. Obviously, the warrior, the leader of the New York Knicks, wants to be out there, but he has a problem with his back. There's a great loyalty between Jeff Van Gundy and Patrick Ewing. We can see he's struggling. He starts out 1 for 6, winds up just 2 for 8, 3 rebounds in the first half. On the other hand, Camby comes out, has 8 points, 7 rebounds, maybe more minutes should be going. The loyalty thing goes so far. When your man's struggling, put somebody out there who can help out.
Struggling on the defensive end, too, Mike, as Alonzo Mourning is 5 for 9 with 12 points. Did pick up 3 fouls, however, in the first half. After the Knicks and Heat, we'll have the opening game of the Utah-Portland series. The Jazz are certainly defined by Stockton and Malone, but 6 years ago, they added the perfect complement to that Hall of Fame duo. Jeff Hornacek, now in his 14th and final season as one of the best pure shooters the league has ever seen.
I never anticipated I'd get drafted.
Welcome to the 1986 NBA Draft.
I remember sitting in Chicago at the pre-draft camp, and most people in the NBA, in fact all of them, other than Phoenix, said that he couldn't make it in the NBA.
They said, we have 3 second-round picks. If you're there on those picks, we're going to take you.
The Phoenix Suns select.
This guy didn't look like a basketball player when I first saw him. I didn't know if he was, I didn't know who he was really. I hadn't heard the name. I know it was a difficult name to pronounce, and you know, he wasn't shaped like a basketball player. He just didn't look like an NBA player. Jeff is one of those rare teammates that everybody that plays with him loves him. There's nobody you want coming off a down pick or spotting up on an open jump shot more so than you'd want Jeff Hornacek.
AJ up top, raised, no, right side, Hornacek from 17. That's good, that's good, that's good.
He was such a fine player in Phoenix and fit in so well there. And I know it was agonizing for the Phoenix organization to trade him.
You just felt like you were part of that family and that you were going to be there forever, and then all of a sudden you get a call saying you're traded. And luckily I went to Philadelphia, and I wouldn't have got traded from Phoenix. I wouldn't have ended up in Utah, so I guess it all works out.
When the Jazz made a trade for him, for Jeff Malone, I thought, man, well, this is going to be the best trade the Jazz ever made.
There wasn't a lot of adjustment for him. He's an unusual player, and coming to a team that was pretty much set in what we did, Stockton to Malone all the time.
Played with John and Carl in the 1 All-Star game and played against them. It seemed like when I was in Phoenix, we played Utah in the first round of the playoffs every single year. So I must have played with and against them 50 times over my career to that point, and knew that I'd be able to fit in.
And horny for 3. One of my favorite. The adrenaline flows when I see it swinging around to him, and we're down 2, and there's seconds to go, and he goes for the 3, and you know it's going.
Horny pulls up for 3. Yes, yes, yes. Hornacek.
We've gotten really close the last couple of years, and to see a warrior that you went to war with every night, deep down you just say to yourself, God, you know, this is a guy that's not going to suit up with me next year.
At age 36, he says for sure this is his final NBA season.
You don't spend a lot of time coaching Jeff Hornacek. It makes the game simple when you have players that understand. He's been well taught, and he's a great listener, and you can't say enough positive things about Jeff Hornacek.
He is a great basketball player, and if he hobbles out there on one knee, I'll still take him every night because he will find a way to beat you. He can do so many things on the court, even if he's hobbling.
I think people should have just looked at Jeff and said, you know what? Take this guy when no one gave him a chance, and this guy made himself into a great player.
Well, in the 6 seasons that Hornacek has been with Utah, they made it at least to the conference finals 4 times, the finals twice, and sure is nice to see the reverence that his teammates have for him, isn't it?
Hannah, go back to what John Stockton said. On one leg, I'll take him. He'll find a way to beat you. And no better example than Game 5 recently against Seattle. Very close game, 3 points. In fact, at this time, Hornacek not making jumpers. Instead, he goes to the offensive glass, tips it in. It goes up to 5 points right there, and his little daughter, Abigail, loves her daddy. So he definitely is a winner knows what it takes.
Well, he made sure that that was not the final game of his NBA career, so now he goes into a series against the Portland Trail Blazers. What challenges does Hornacek face?
Well, he's going to have to show that great leaping ability again that he just displayed. But the biggest challenge he's going to have is finding a way to guard Scottie Pippen in the low post or Steve Smith in the low post. Portland likes to post their guards up. They like to post up Smith. They like to post up Pippen. And when you double team those guys, they have great spot up shooters in terms of Smith or Pippen and Stoudemire. So Hornacek's challenge will be, can he guard a taller player in the post without giving up and using that great jumping ability he just displayed.
That he's so well known for. He's really struggled offensively against the Blazers, too. A career 49% shooter, hasn't even hit 32% of his shots against the Blazers this season. When we return, we'll get the latest from Peter Vesey on a couple of big-name free agents, the Raptors' Tracy McGrady and Charlotte's Eddie Jones. First, a message from Net Zero and a word from the NBA. As we move into the second round of the playoffs, we want to address the future of a couple of teams that were knocked out in the first round. First, the Toronto Raptors and their free agent Tracy McGrady. Now, Peter Vesey joins us again from Miami. And a week ago, Peter, you told us that McGrady had played his final game for the Raptors, but then McGrady said later if Vince Carter would sign an extension with Toronto, that he would too. So where does it stand?
Well, McGrady, Hannah, knows how to say the politically correct thing. He wants to make sure that the Raptor fans feel that he's considering staying there. But the fact is, he's not going to stay there. My sources say he's considering one of two teams. It's either going to be the Chicago Bulls or the Orlando Magic. Both teams can pay him an exorbitant amount under the cap. But the only way he gets paid maximum is if he re-signs with the Raptors and they do a sign and trade with one of those two teams.
Meanwhile, he's putting the onus on Carter. Okay, all-star Eddie Jones of the Charlotte Hornets, also a free agent. Where's he headed?
Well, you know, he knows he's been treated very well by the Hornets, but he doesn't like the apathy down there. They've got a lot of empty seats. He doesn't really like playing with Anthony Mason and Derek Coleman, say my sources. Again, the two teams that he's considering are the Bulls and the Magic. The Bulls, he does not want to really be the number one guy there. He wants the Bulls to be able to recruit another top-name player before he goes there. Otherwise, he'll probably go to the Magic. You know, everybody's building homes down in Orlando. Tracy McGrady's built one, Eddie Jones, even Butch Carter. But he's building a courthouse, Hannah.
Nice one, Peter. Okay, now if those two guys, they already have homes in Orlando, let's just say theoretically that they both end up with the Magic, what would that mean for Tim Duncan?
Well, Hannah, I believed all along that Tim Duncan isn't going to go anywhere. I believe he will re-sign with the Spurs. I think he's got an awful lot of loyalty to the people down there, the city, and Coach Greg Popovich. David Robinson has another year. And again, I've said all along that if he does re-sign, most people think it'll be a one-year deal. I think if he does re-sign, it'll be a long-term deal.
Okay, Peter, thanks a lot. Meanwhile, the Heat lead the Knicks by 1. We'll send you back to Miami for the second half after these messages from your local station.
This has been Net Zero at the half. Net Zero, defenders of the free world. Free internet access and free email forever. Call 1-800-DEFENDER.
Jim Gray back in Miami as we get ready for the second half. I spoke to Jeff Van Gundy. He said we did some good things to keep this game close. He said the layoff has really hurt us, particularly offensively. He said it's been a struggle for Pat, but he will continue to play him. He's going to keep his eye on him, and that so far Ewing hasn't complained, and Ewing nodded over to me here at halftime and said that he was fine. Now, as for Pat Riley, he told his troops, hey guys, we've really got to hit the boards much more. The only guy who's doing it is P.J. Brown with 12. Tom?
And that 12, by the way, is Mourning scores on a jump hook. The 12 rebounds in the first half by P.J. Brown, a Miami playoff franchise record.
He started out with 9 in that first quarter, so he's all over the glass for them. And if Mourning stays in the game, that will make a difference for them in that rebounding total.
Original starting fives intact for both teams.
3 on the clock.
Open shot for Charlie Ward. A three-pointer up over the backboard and out of bounds to Miami.
Poor spacing as Van Gundy looks on in dismay, and the offensive frustration that he talked to Jim Gray about, holding true to form here. But the Knicks did achieve 2 of their goals in the first half. They didn't commit a lot of turnovers. They only had 3. They defended the three-point shot well, holding Miami to 1 for 7, 14%. But the offensive stagnation, particularly of Sprewell and Ewing, really hurt.
A no-look pass to Alonzo Mourning for the layup from Jamal Mashburn.
Now they know that they're going to get double teamed. They make a quick adjustment inside. Mourning back-to-back hoop.
Johnson against P.J. Brown. Shot clock down at 7.
And when he dribbles the ball like this, he's usually looking to pass. And that last option, then they took it away on a triple, and he ended up placing up his shot. Oh, Hardaway had him there.
Mourning, if he had taken a step toward the basket, had a jam.
He had to seal off Patrick Ewing. That's the passer's fault. It's always the passer's fault.
The ball was right where it needed to be.
You sound like a guard.
Houston, closely guarded by Marley. Slipped, lost it. Hardaway, a stop and start. Got the shot up, no good. Knocked out of bounds. It was off
Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson, yes.
The determination, the pursuit of the ball that Jeff Van Gundy wants his team to come with. It's all the Miami Heat. They are so quick. That was only Tim Hardaway's 3rd shot of the day.
Marley gets a wide open shot and then trying to recover. Allen Houston fouls him.
You can't have lapses like this, and this is what happened at the top of the 3rd quarter, where they're getting right at the rim, and then the defense is reacting. That's how they got in the ball game, running on the break, playing right in a high percentage area, and the Knicks give up early points and haven't scored any in the first 2 minutes of the ball game.
Marley's three-point play, and Miami, to open the 3rd quarter, scores 7 straight.
Riley telling us before the game today, it's all about the focus, it's about the attitude, it's about making your dreams become reality. It's happening for Miami.
Patrick Ewing can't hit. Brown owns the defensive glass for Miami, 13 of them. Pass broken up, scramble, Ewing has it. Here's Charlie Ward for New York. He thought Patrick was going to continue to the basket, and he stopped. And that one goes out of bounds. And I might blame the passer on that one, to make you feel any better.
Tim Hardaway did a very nice job defensively here. Charlie Ward stopped. Tim Hardaway just backs up, puts a body in front of Ewing. Charlie Ward's got to pull the trigger on that free throw jumper.
Now the New York Knicks defense has got to stiffen up, and they've got to come back with some easy scores themselves in order to stay in the game.
Charlie Ward challenging Mourning and laying it in. Nifty reverse by Charlie Ward.
Tim Hardaway comes up limping.
Tom, did Charlie Ward look over here and say anything?
This is not good. This is not good here for Tim Hardaway.
We knew that was going to be the danger, that foot could go at any time, and Hardaway shaking his head.
Are you a hardcore driver? Do you want an exciting car that's well built? This is the Pontiac Grand Am, the only car built with solid form design. It's hard to the core, and now it's an official sponsor of the 2000 U.S. Olympic team. Are you a hardcore driver? Grand Am by Pontiac.
The Knicks game plan, intelligently attacking Tim Hardaway, playing with the very sore feet. Tim can't move laterally. He said the running up and down the court is no problem, but that ability to stop, change direction, explode. Tim Hardaway comes up very, very lame, pulling that left leg way up. He can't even put it down.
And that look is reminiscent of Grant Hill. When Grant Hill broke the foot and on the play came up, and Ailing, immediately they take Tim Hardaway back into the back.
And immediately the Miami Heat, they have to come right back through Jamal Mashburn and let him reestablish himself as the creative offensive force.
Anthony Carter replaces Hardaway, who leaves with 4 points, 5 assists, and 3 turnovers.
Beautiful pass, Mashburn.
Brown gives Mashburn the assist as he knocks down the jump shot. Brown has 8 points to go with those 13 rebounds. Let's go to Jim Gray for an update on Hardaway.
Well, Tom, Tim Hardaway has been taken off the court back into the locker room. He's being examined right now by Ron Culpa and the Miami Heat doctors. They will re-examine him, and when we have more, we'll pass it on to you.
All right, Jim. There's a reach-in foul called on Miami. Anthony Carter, or P.J. Brown, number 2.
Now, as good as Brown has been on the glass, Riley needs him out on the floor. Remember the Detroit series in which he picked up a lot of cheap fouls. They can't afford to see him reaching in, picking up those kinds of fouls, because with a 7-point lead, it's not big enough.
Sprewell cut off as Mourning came out to help. Now the double team of Ewing. He finds the open man. Houston for 3. Won't go. Mourning taps it. Brown hauls it down.
The Heat cannot start feeling sorry for themselves here about the loss of Tim Hardaway.
Well, if they've learned anything, it's how to play without him. They've had enough opportunities. And Mourning misses the outside shot.
Charlie Ward again. Same shot.
Charlie Ward slashing to the rim with authority. Now a half dozen points. 4 of them in this quarter.
They play Charlie Ward so much for the pass. And right now he's doing the right thing by aggressively attacking. They can't get the ball to Mourning, who had great position.
Ward quickly saves it after Ewing deflected it. Here's Sprewell. And he scores. And it looks like New York suddenly has spring in their step. Maybe triggered by seeing Hardaway limp off the court. And they have renewed vigor. We've got a timeout at 7:33 left in the third. Miami leading 55-51 despite this last bucket by Latrell Sprewell of New York.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Refuse to lose. Refuse to give in. Gatorade, is it in you? By the rugged Montana from Pontiac, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. By Oracle Software, powers the internet. And by Nike.
We have talked a lot about the dynamic duo of Houston and Sprewell in the backcourt, but the saving grace for the New York Knicks in the first round of the playoff was a play of Larry Johnson. LJ was huge at the critical moments, and in the second half of each one of those ball games, he came up with some big numbers, important ones, to help put the Toronto Raptors away. And number 2, that's his number. It's time for him to show up.
They certainly need everything from Larry Johnson right now. The Knicks half-court offense continues its stagnation here. They're 0 for 4 in half-court sets, 3 for 3 on the break in the third quarter.
Well, maybe they ought to just turn themselves into a running team as Mashburn sails that one into the stand.
Sprewell seems to have come alive a little bit here. He's playing better defense, not giving Jamal Mashburn the wide open opportunities, and taking it to the hoop on the offensive break opportunities.
No, it's not the Knicks or the Heat's personality to suddenly become the Milwaukee Bucks or the Sacramento Kings. But I mean, you know, they got to look for some cheap scores because they're both so good with perimeter defense, with the help defense, that if you're not going to get that cheap bucket, you're going to find yourselves in those long droughts, and we've seen them both go through one in the first half.
7:05 left third quarter, and a 4-point Miami lead. Look how close Marley is on Houston.
That'll get him beat every time.
Sprewell, good ball fake, got himself open, can't score. Battle for it, it comes to Marley.
They give it to Mourning, let him turn and face, use his quickness here, and get it to hoop.
There it is. Missed the shot, couldn't finish it after he'd gotten baseline by Ewing. Charlie Ward pushing for New York. He's taking it to the rim on Carter. That one won't go down. Houston diving after the Sprewell save. Can't quite get there.
Sprewell had to give that ball up. He was going to fall out of bounds himself. Would have needed an incredibly fortuitous positioning by Allen Houston. Not there that time. Knicks still trail by 4.
the Knicks are in the ball game. As much of a struggle as it's been, they're doing it defensively just by making the Miami Heat make an extra pass, dive in the passing lane. Riley knows that this is going to be a struggle, and Van Gundy is saying, you know, guys, if we can just get a couple of stops and a couple of hoops, we're back in this thing.
With that whistle, a inbounds play called by Riley. It comes to Mashburn. Mashburn driving by Sprewell, double teamed by Johnson. Pass hit the underneath side of the backboard, out of bounds.
How long does Jeff Van Gundy go with Marcus Camby and Chris Childs on the bench? Those guys were superb in the first half. They have not sniffed an ounce of court time yet.
Well, Charlie Ward's done some good things in order to take the guy out when he's all of a sudden become a spark plug himself.
Carter misses a shot as the shot clock was down to 2. Bodies everywhere. Ewing with the outlet to Ward. He hits Sprewell. Spree double team. Ewing the finger roll and one.
The number.
In transition, Patrick Ewing laboring to get up and down the court. The foul on P.J. Brown. Latrell Sprewell, such an effective passer, had his best season. Now passing that ball out of the double team.
Ewing with 10 points and the lead cut to 1.
So we're right back where we started at the break after the Miami Heat roared out. It's been New York answering. They've done it all in the open court. So maybe they have to stay with the open court game.
Deflected out of bounds by Sprewell. Miami gets it back with 10 to shoot.
How's Ewing's back looking, Bill?
A little bit better. It's going to be sore. There's no way it's not going to be a factor or it's going to be great here. You've got to keep playing what you can do.
Marley fake Houston, stepped up and hit the 3. Miami back up by 4. Sprewell fouled.
The Miami Heat do an excellent job of making that extra pass, and this time it pays off for them. They always like to try to get that one guy out on the wing, and this is a spot that Marley likes to shoot the best from, out at the angle, and he gets a 3-point shot to go in.
Jamal Mashburn just committing his second foul. He has yet to score in this third quarter.
Sprewell, a swirling derby's coming to the rim.
Carter took it away from Ewing. He has Mashburn on the wing. There's the pass, and Mashburn is hammered and will shoot 2 free throws.
That's the aggression that the Miami Heat have to play with. Quit feeling sorry for themselves that Tim Hardaway may not be available for another extended stay, with Jamal Mashburn running so hard to the hoop. Larry Johnson far underneath the hoop.
And Hardaway back out of the locker room. Let's check with Jim Gray.
Thanks, Tom. Well, he just had his ankle retaped. He felt a twinge, and he decided he better come out of the game. They retaped his ankle. He just came out and told Pat Riley that he is okay to go and is going to give it a try. Tom?
All right, Jim. So I don't know if it's advisable to give it a try. I hope he checks with the doctor first.
Well, you know he's going to want to play.
That's right.
You know, when he had his suit on, he knew he couldn't talk his way into the ball game. Now, because the game is so close and he's done so much today, Riley may give in because winning the first game is so important to the Heat.
Meanwhile, Jamal Mashburn continues his excellent free throw shooting. Is 9 for 9. He has 13 points. And with 5 minutes left in the third, the New York lead is, or the New York deficit is 6.
9 on the clock for Ewing. He's going to shoot this.
Blocked by Mourning. Marley to Carter, saved it. Mashburn taps it. Finally, Marley wins. Mashburn right by Ewing, who tripped him, no call, and he scored anyway.
Van Gundy said loose balls will determine this game. That play emblematic of the way it's gone. Alonzo Mourning obviously shaken up.
At center court, I think he may have gotten kicked in that exchange where the ball went back and forth. He's holding his forehead.
Here's Alonzo Mourning. That scramble, that mad melee for the ball. Looked like he hit Charlie Wart's head. They went head to head.
And we'll take a break while they tend to Alonzo Mourning. Back in Miami, Alonzo Mourning holding his right temple. He's had a history of facial injuries to his cheekbones, his nose. Charlie Ward right there, the ex-football player, knocking bodies every which way, both Mourning and Marley. Here it is again. Watch Charlie Ward, 21, boom. Gets Mourning and Marley in the head. And Tim Hardaway, bad foot and all, running to Zoe's aid. Meanwhile, down on the other end of the court, Mashburn, tripping over Ewing's foot, somehow manages to put in the shot.
The littlest guy in the court, Charlie Ward, inflicting all the damage, taking out 2-3 Miami Heat players there. Where is the New York offense in the set? They have not scored out of the set offense the second half.
Let's check on the injuries as Sprewell hits. Let's check on the injuries with Jim Gray.
Well, Alonzo Mourning during that timeout was a little bit dazed, wasn't quite sure where he was. He came out onto the bench. Ron Culp gave him some smelling salts, so it was almost like a dazed boxer. Probably wouldn't have been able to respond had the game gone on, but was able to get a little rest in between rounds, Tom.
All right, Jim. You see Sprewell say something to the Miami bench, too, after he made that last bucket. Things are starting to heat up. This is, after all, the Knicks in the Heat.
Well, Jamal Mashburn has taken it better than he's ever brought it before. Scoring acrobatic shots time and time again deep in the paint.
17 for Jamal. Houston. Beautiful shot, Allen Houston. And he has a dozen points. That's his first bucket of the second half.
And after the first two sweet shots by Allen Houston, he's had a tough time shaking loose to get that much distance, but they need him to step up as well as their defense to force some turnovers and stay in the open court.
Mashburn was tying his shoe while the other Heat players were playing keep away.
6 on the clock.
Mashburn for three. Went halfway down before it ricocheted out.
Knicks have scored twice in a row in set offense. Houston and Sprewell. Now it's Ewing's turn.
Can't finish, but taps it in.
Patrick has no ability to elevate today. He just can't get off the ground with that painful back spasm.
But he scored 12, and the lead is 4.
He's hanging tough. You know, if his back is bothering him, you know, it could be just like he has with the Achilles, where he played an important role in them getting there. He's going to, you know, try to tough it out. Mourning.
Bounces once, twice, and into the hands of P.J. Brown. Deflected out of bounds off Brown. It'll be New York's ball.
Mike Mathis was saying that was all ball defensively for New York.
Larry Johnson out. Marcus Camby in. 4-point game.
Tim Hardaway set to come back in at the scorer's table. Ward through the hands of Camby and out of bounds.
Jumping in the air on penetration to kick it out. But Hardaway's return brings the roar of the crowd here from the Miami Loyalists.
Miami with the ball up 4. 2:20 to play third quarter. Mashburn facing Sprewell.
This is a tough matchup for Sprewell because of the size, strength, and quickness of Jamal Mashburn, and he looks like he wants to stay in this one and run things at the offensive end.
Brown shot an air ball.
Camby continues to have impact in the intangible areas, that time intimidating, forcing P.J. Brown into an errant wild shot.
Inside 2 minutes, third quarter, in game 1. Ward for 3.
Leading scorer in the quarter for the New York Knicks, Charlie Ward.
Inspired by Chris Childs. He's not going to let Childs back in there.
He has 7 in the quarter, 9 in the game. Mashburn made a good catch as Houston fell down and Jamal Mashburn strikes again. He's the sole offense for the Heat these days, and he has 19.
8 in the quarter, so, you know, he was really taking it by the range and been aggressive, but it's a 3-point game. The Knicks have fought their way back in it.
Allen Houston. Sweet shot by Houston. He has 14. And again, the lead cut to 1.
Allen Houston looks more and more like Walt Frazier, who Jim Gray talked to in the first half. embrace the beauty.
Hardaway misses a three. Here's Ward leading the New York break, but Miami's back on defense.
Sprewell is yelling only on the other side, right by us. Get it to me.
Allen Houston for three.
He is feeling it. He is in the zone. Just give him the ball and get out of his way.
And on the other end, same thing for Mashburn, who scored the last 6 Miami points. Hardaway to Marlin. Off a screen, Mashburn, Sprewell right there.
Ewing reached in, saved him.
Otis Thorpe had the ball, and Ewing a reach-in foul.
But Allen Houston is a familiar thorn in the side of the Miami Heat. Every time Marley takes one step away to play his customary great help defense, Allen Houston has torched him.
Well, from quiet to red hot, that's where Allen Houston has gone, and the Knicks are on top by 2. 35.3 left in the third quarter of play.
Mashburn spinning by Sprewell. Up with it. Back tap to Mashburn by Brown.
Play for one here.
Or maybe Thorpe it was on the rebound.
Mashburn showing no hesitation, complete confidence. He feels it's his team now. Here's the matchup out in front. Sprewell, Mashburn.
Mashburn to Bowen. Slicing to the rim and scoring.
That's for that elbow.
Houston at the buzzer. No good. And the third quarter ends in a dead heat. Allen Houston heating up. 17 in the game as New York goes on a 14-6 run to end the third quarter. And at the end of 3 in game 1, it's Miami 68 and New York 68. We'll return to Miami right after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
New York ending the quarter on a 14-6 run after Mourning was involved in that collision. And we're tied at 68 as we start the fourth.
Well, since Alonzo Mourning had his bell rung, it has been all New York. Maybe that was the wake-up call that New York needed, the ringing of the bell.
Did you take the whole time out to think of that? It was a long break.
Well,
fourth quarter underway.
One thing we know, with Charlie Ward playing the way that he is, that means that Chris Childs may not see any action for a while.
Holding foul. Called on Bruce Bowen of Miami, his first. Houston against the defensive specialist Bowen. Made a nice ball fake, but the shot a wild one.
Bowen and Marley had such excellent fundamentals, footwork-wise, on defense, just forcing Houston to an extremely difficult shot attempt.
With this lineup, Pat Riley putting the scoring burden on Jamal Mashburn for sure. Charlie Ward commits his second foul.
Ward out, Chris Childs in.
When Chris Childs played in the first half, he had 4 points, 4 assists, and 0 turnovers. In fact, he played the last 11 minutes of the first half, and the Knicks as a team did not turn the ball over at all.
Bowen. Mashburn off a screen, gets a quick pass. Back to Bowen after the double team, and Bowen hits the three. Bruce Bowen has a couple of key buckets, known for his defense. Now with 5 points, and what a pickup he was by Pat Riley late in the season.
Oh, the more we see him, the more he just plays like Michael Cooper for Pat Riley. Cooper was a devastating offensive weapon for the Lakers in decades past.
Ewing. Patrick Ewing after the penetration by Chris Childs. And the Miami lead is 1.
Hardaway has not even tried an offensive trip to the basket. Just dribbling it up, setting other guys up.
Well, I mean, if he plays with the ability that he knows and takes the open shot when it's there, he can be a factor still. 5 on the clock.
Hardaway, a long three. And the rebound, Canby, who taps it to Sprewell. Childs trying to exploit the immobility of Hardaway. Penetrates again and dishes it off, and a Miami foul.
Well, let's see if Childs and Ward as a combination continue to attack Tim Hardaway whenever he's out on the floor. You're going to be able to get by him, and that's going to break down the defense. They're going to have to react. Canby goes to the line.
The big men for New York, though, moving off of penetration. Canby gets tripped to the line. Ewing the previous time, the perimeter jumper.
Tonight on NBC, it's Jason and the Argonauts, a world premiere miniseries event. He traveled to the end of the world and faced impossible odds to capture the Golden Fleece and rescue a kingdom. Jason and the Argonauts tonight on NBC.
Sounds like the Knicks' journey toward the championship.
Just over 10 minutes left. Game one. Marcus Camby off the New York bench. 9 points and 9 boards. Weatherspoon on the high post, dribbling his way now. Had it deflected out of bounds. With 6 to shoot, Miami will get it back.
They should have Hardaway inbound here to Mashburn. Instead, they're going to put Tim underneath the basket to try to pop out.
6 on the clock.
Jamal Mashburn. Canby has his 10th board.
Again, the quick penetration, but the steal.
Give it up. Give it to somebody who can run.
Well, Hardaway had enough distance that he was able to take it in. A head start helped that.
You just feel terrible for Tim Hardaway, one of the great champions that the NBA has had for the last 10 years.
But a gamer, despite being injured. Back out there after retaping his ankle.
Well, that would be the story for both he and Ewing. You know, they know how important their presence is out on the floor, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to help their team. The good reach around defense by Tim Hardaway, and that's what got him out in the open court. And run just a little bit faster than everyone else.
And Zoe appreciates the steal and layup.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Keystone Light, America's never bitter beer. By Chrysler, these will never land on an ordinary car. And by the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's?
Welcome back to Miami on this May afternoon. Game one of the Eastern Conference semifinal round between the Knicks and the Heat. 1-point game, just like it was at halftime. The two former Georgetown centers battling to a near-dead Heat today. Mourning has scored 2 more, but Ewing, as usual, has out-rebounded it.
But Alonzo Mourning scored 2 quick baskets to open the third quarter. Since then, he's gone scoreless over the last 14 minutes. 0 for 4. Ewing gets the runner in the lane.
And so Ewing has equaled Mourning's point total and has out-rebounded him as well. Maybe he is still the best center in the East.
I told Steve it was early.
No, what you told me is I know nothing about a bad bat. That bat is getting better with every minute out on the floor. Larry Johnson back in the game. Zoe about to check in. Wow, Larry Johnson.
There's a long list of things I've told you.
Most of which are in the laundry basket.
Yeah, most of which we automatically disregard.
Thorpe out, Mourning in.
Shot clock reset to 14. 8:52 left in the game. New York is up by a point.
Tim really lifting and laboring. Childs right up in his face.
Shot clock you see. Down to 5. Mourning bulling his way past Ewing. A shot no good. Tapped in by Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon with a big follow bucket for Miami.
When you have 2 and 3 guys going to make a defensive play on the same ball, that's going to leave wide open lanes at the offensive glass for Miami.
Heat by 1. Childs again the penetration. Canby dives to the rim and slams it home.
Now that's where Canby was so good a year ago, playing off the ball and then catching it, coming in with 2 hands, 4 on the quarter for Marcus Canby.
He has 11 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double off the Knicks bench.
Mourning's got to turn and face more than trying to go back to the basket.
How about a jump hook?
That'll work too. But his edge on a consistent basis is going to come from his quickness, his mobility, and his driving capabilities.
Trying to set up the same play they had the last time, knowing that Sprewell's going to get a double team. He shoots this one.
Mashburn grabs it, takes it into front court. Here's Mourning again. He's been the focus of the Heat offense since returning to the game. Facing up on Patrick Ewing, and now the double team comes. Ball movement, open shot, Bowen for three, way short, and Camby has it.
Great run out. Larry Johnson covered 3 different ball attacks by Miami that play.
Mourning blocks the Ewing shot. Is the foul on Mourning or Weatherspoon? It's on Weatherspoon. On Weatherspoon, that's number 2, 4 against Miami.
Whenever New York has had some success against the Miami Heat defense, it's because they've attacked quickly and with a real good decided edge and purpose of ball movement, player movement. Ewing misses the first.
That block looked like a lot of ball and very little body contact.
Sprewell out and Houston in. Sprewell has 9 points on 4 of 11 shooting today. Ewing sinks 1 of 2. He's tied the game at 77.
Sprewell, who's so completely dominating Vince Carter, giving Knicks fans real hope of another run all the way to the finals, has not had the same success against a vastly improved Jamal Mashburn.
Again, well, give Carter some credit for his first time in. Strong effort by Weatherspoon.
Timeout, Miami. Clarence Weatherspoon diving, lunging.
But also challenging 2 7-footers. I don't know about that. Timeout. NBA playoffs 2000, Game 1, Eastern Conference semifinals at American Airlines Arena in Miami. The Heat and the Knicks. The Knicks fired up trying to steal Game 1 and take the home court advantage. Friends and rivals Alonzo Mourning and Patrick Ewing going at it as always. Each team has had a run or 2 in this game. The advantage has swung back and forth repeatedly. Mourning rejected Ewing, but the center's playing on about even terms. Larry Johnson, not a factor lately. One of the incidents in the game earlier, Tim Hardaway being re-injured. Charlie Ward bumping heads with Alonzo Mourning sent Mourning to the bench as Hardaway expressed his concern. Both Hardaway and Mourning have returned to the action, though, and now with 6:46 left, Miami inbounds it in a tie game with only 2 to shoot. Mourning missed a jam, but was fouled.
The way that Patrick Ewing is rooted to the floor on defense, he just cannot move his feet laterally. Alonzo Mourning should try this play virtually on every possession. He grabbed and held Mourning on his way to the hoop, keeping him from the strong finish.
So Alonzo Mourning at the free throw line. Alonzo has scored 18, Ewing 17.
You know, if the games that follow us have this attitude, Tom, we're going to be in for a terrific triple hitter today.
And you know it will be, as following us, Utah and Portland in their Game 1 out west. And, of course, the nightcap. Game 1 as Phoenix takes on L.A.
Will Scottie Pippen and Steve Smith be able to make the difference for the Blazers? Will Brian Grant be able to control Karl Malone as he did last year?
It's an NBA playoff triple header on NBC today. This is Game 1.
Mourning both of those free throws as Larry Johnson has not scored in the second half, trying to score, almost turns it over.
Allen Houston, that's a long-range 2. But talk about a fortunate set of circumstances. They were about to fumble it away, and who does it come to? Their best shooter, Allen Houston.
Is there a better shooter in the league when he's wide open with his feet? That maybe Jeff Hornacek, maybe Reggie Miller. But they're all 3 right at the top.
You don't like Ray Allen?
Here's Mashburn. What about him?
Steve, they lost in the playoffs.
You said, is there a better shooter?
Are there better 6'8" shooters than Jamal Mashburn from outside? Tied at 79.
York and Miami, and game one as expected. Houston ducks under Marley, scores again. Houston with 21, and New York back up by a deuce.
What it takes to play at the offensive end, Allen Houston has finally calmed himself down and playing with some control, and that's what Mourning is going to have to do for the Miami Heat. Marley
for three. Long rebound, chased down by Childs.
Patience for New York. You've got the lead. 20-second timeout. Timeouts with the lead. I really enjoy.
Latrell Sprewell will re-enter the game when we return to Miami. Back at American Airlines Arena, Miami desperately trying to win game one and hold the home court advantage. And with 5:04 left, trailing by 2, 81-79, the New York Knicks have gone to Allen Houston lately, and he's responded. 5 of 7 shooting by New York.
Ben Gundy so prophetic, saying this game, this series, most likely will come down to one play, one shot, one tip ball, a long three, an offensive rebound at the very end.
P.J. Brown returns for Miami. Anthony Carter continues to operate at the point with Hardaway on the bench. There's Brown. Hardaway had become a defensive liability as Childs was taking it to him every time. Now he's facing Carter.
Sure, Pat Riley has told Dan Marley, keep the ball out of Houston's hand.
He misses a three, and the rebound to Alonzo Mourning. Just 4 rebounds for Zoe today.
Maybe he was talking about himself at halftime, helping keep back out on the board, but he's had a lot of foul problems.
Marley open three, short, way short.
Alonzo is not going to be a great defensive rebound in terms of numbers, because he's always out there pushing and attacking the ball from the defensive high post, leaving P.J. Brown on the weak side to get the number rebounds.
Ball movement, Childs misses the three. P.J. Brown continues to rule the defensive boards. He has 15 in the game.
Matchup right here, Mourning against Larry Johnson. You've got to get that one in the air. The Knicks are looking for a jump ball. They say Marcus Camby on the hole.
Alonzo Mourning getting reacquainted with his old friend Larry Johnson, going right to the hoop. And no, he can't take it anymore.
Bill is 4:03 left. 4 minutes for that pass. Sprewell checking Mashburn. Shot clock at 10. Penetration Carter. The dish to Brown. His baseline jumper's no good. Tapped out of bounds. Carter hit it last.
And that's P.J. Brown's shot, too. Most of the time when he's on the baseline wide open like that, Riley's going to live with the response, and it's usually a make.
And there's Tim Hardaway going to try one more time.
Fortunately, Van Gundy coming right back with Patrick Ewing at the next dead ball as Riley's coming back with Tim Hardaway.
They got to switch with Johnson against Carter if they can get him the ball.
Childs faked the three and traveled. So Tim Hardaway is back for Miami, and Patrick Ewing returns for New York. The two injured stars back on the court. Carter sits for Miami.
Anxiety sets in for a team once the shot clock starts running down and they start bobbling the passes. Houston didn't have a good handle on it. Chris Childs had to go before he was ready.
Camby replaced by Ewing. Mourning is fouled again as Childs and Ewing converge on him.
Got him too deep under the paint to receive the pass. Ewing makes the mistake of letting himself get walked underneath the basket. 4th foul against Patrick Ewing.
So Alonzo Mourning at the free throw line, where he's only connected on 2 of his 5 attempts. And before Mourning can attempt his second free throw, New York takes a timeout. 3:24 left in game one, and the issue still in doubt. 1-point game in Miami, and Pat Riley says to beat a tough opponent like the Knicks, it's all a matter of imposing your will.
Each team has the intangible of mental toughness, and one team usually will impose theirs a little bit more than the other, and then the loser goes home and gets mad and reacts and comes back and imposes theirs a little bit more. And I think that's what this series undercurrent is all about. It really is about being able to sustain an effort level and stay the course during very adverse, crazy moments out there on the court when it's unclear whether you're going to win or lose. And these games have shown that if you stay in it right to the end, that you can get a couple bounces and miracle jumpers.
The reference, of course, to Allen Houston's Game 5 winner in the opening round series last year. As New York, that's a save, but right into the hands of Marley. Turnover Knicks after Mourning's free throw had tied it.
A mistake, Allen Houston. He jumped in the air, had nowhere to throw the ball, and was hoping to get bailed out. Mourning wants to shoot this.
Waiting for the double team that never comes. Ewing pushes him out of bounds and commits the foul. That's 5 on Patrick.
Capitalizing on superior mobility. The drop step, wheeling around. Ewing not able to use the baseline as his defensive teammate.
Hardaway sprinting to take his spot along the foul line. Best he's moved all day. Mourning dropped in 2 a moment ago. Let's see if he can continue it after a poor free throw shooting effort earlier in the game. He has 20 points and now 21.
Where is the Knicks set offense going to come from down the stretch? Latrell Sprewell has been outplayed by Jamal Mashburn this afternoon. Allen Houston has been hot lately, but Marley has had good success there.
Houston's second free throw makes him the game's top scorer with 22 points. Allen Houston and Jamal Mashburn have 21 each.
Alonzo Mourning under some pressure, knowing how important they were, true to the mark. Houston isolated.
Against Hardaway, and he has to give it up. Here's Sprewell attacking Mashburn. Up and under, short. And Alonzo Mourning wades in to get it for Miami.
Jamal Mashburn's defense towering over Sprewell, forcing him into very tough, awkward double clutch runners.
They had a double screen on both sides. They were trying to get Mourning the ball and ended up further out on the floor.
Missed a wide open shot, but a little out of his range.
Ewing wants it.
2 minutes left.
Get moving and supportive, and don't just stand and watch.
Childs for 3. 3 Heat battling. Marley manages to save it.
Why are the New York Knicks spotting up their point guards for three-point jumpers? They should be the swingmen, spot up Sprewell and Houston and Larry Johnson.
Miami with the ball, up 2. Hardaway throws up a long 3. What in the world was that all about?
That was time to be the hero.
Or the GOAT.
Larry Johnson.
Wide open 3. It won't go down. And Mourning with a tough rebound over Ewing.
A lot of time left. Heat slow getting into their offense. Get it to Mashburn early. Let him make a play.
1 minute left. Marley, nice fake. Hardaway for 3. And a loose ball foul called on Jamal Mashburn of Miami. So Hardaway launching 2 threes the last 2 possessions.
And the Knicks were very lucky not to get a foul against Allen Houston on that dive that Marley caught him around the shoulders. The official called nothing, and they come up with that bad shot from Hardaway.
That was great defense. It was rotating at its best, and now Sprewell earns a trip to the line. The crowd comes alive trying to intimidate him. He will not succumb to the pressure.
Sprewell. And what about shot selection here?
This is a quick shot and not a good shot from the veteran. And then again, trying to close him out with a big three. That one is short.
Sprewell will be shooting for the tie when we return to Miami. .56 seconds left in game one. Miami leads 83-82, but Latrell Sprewell at the New York free throw line with a chance to tie the game.
It has been a defensive struggle the last few minutes. The last field goal by either club was at the 5-minute 34-second mark. That was by Allen Houston. All free throws since then.
Sprewell rolls it in. That looked like the Allen Houston shot of a year ago. Front rim, bouncing through, tied at 83.
Well, the offense has helped the defense by taking some quick shots or jumping in the air, making some poor decisions. And Riley's trying to get some movement in that offense to find Mourning.
Great ball movement. Marley to Mourning to lay it in. Miami looks sharp on the set play called in the timeout.
Riley called that timeout wisely, give his team a chance to get together between the free throws, maybe put some more pressure on Sprewell.
Riley's over there saying, one stop, one stop.
There it is. Deflected ball and the interception by Miami.
You've got a foul. You got a foul right now. You can't wait. There's only a 3-second differential. That'll be eaten up.
Miami can all but dribble out the time.
And then just shoot a long, high archer, and more time will be eaten up.
Well, they are holding. They feel that they can get one more shot. Mourning.
No way.
Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning hitting the last two shots.
Outstanding execution of the set offense, whether he'd have been better throughout the day. Alonzo Mourning bringing the crowd to its feet.
Zoe has scored 10 points in the last 8 minutes, 26 in the game, and this could be the game winner. Alonzo Mourning against his old rival, Patrick Ewing, dropping in the field goal, giving Miami the lead. We'll be back after these messages from your local station, the NBA on NBC. By Alonzo Mourning, Miami leads New York 87-83. 5.6 seconds to go. New York inbounds at midcourt. Allen Houston. Stripped by Marley. Bowling. That will not count. No basket. It doesn't matter. It's all academic anyway. As Miami, with Alonzo Mourning scoring 10 points in the last 8 minutes, wins game one over their arch rival, the New York Knicks. And let's go down to Jim Gray, who has Alonzo Mourning. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, you hit the last two buckets in the game here, Alonzo. How sweet is this victory, considering you guys had to live all offseason with that Allen Houston shot?
It's just the beginning of the series, and I just want to thank God for giving us the strength, man, because we had to get some strength from somewhere to dig it out and to make plays down the stretch and to get a win.
You said at halftime you guys were shooting yourselves in the foot. What changed in the second half?
Well, we just gathered ourselves and started making better plays. We were giving them a lot of second chances, you know, which was keeping them in the game. And, I mean, my man right here, he's got the heart of a lion, man.
What about the courage of Tim Hardaway?
I mean, he sucked it up, came back out here and led us on, man. He made the right plays, set us up in the right spots, made the right plays for us to pull out a win.
Tim, how hard was it for you to play, considering you left the game and had to have it retaped?
Yeah, I had to retape, but you know, it's on fire right now. It's kind of aching right now because
he's all right.
I'm all right. I'll be all right.
You gonna be able to play Tuesday?
I'll be able to play Tuesday. I'm just gonna ice it. I'm just gonna ice it. I'll be all right.
It'll be all right.
How do you keep focused now, finally, guys? How do you keep focused? It's only one win.
We've been here before. We won the game here, and they won the series. So we got to come in and win on Tuesday.
this first game, it matters, but it doesn't matter because we got to come back the second game with the same type of intensity.
Guys, congratulations. Thanks for your time. All right, Tom, back to you.
All right, Jim. Alonzo Mourning with 26. Jamal Mashburn outplayed Sprewell, had 21 points. Allen Houston led New York with 21. The final in Game 1, Miami beating New York 87-83. So for Steve Jones, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray, Tom Hammond saying so long from Miami. Now let's send you to our next game, Game 2 in our triple header, the Jazz and the Trailblazers. Let's go to Mike Bree.